Hi, I'm Dede Harper, the real estate angel, and the host of the Halo Effect Show every Friday. If you're ready to begin living your best life as a highly paid and highly favored six-figure realtor, call the Harper School of Real Estate today. When you mention you heard the ad on Pure Radio, you can enroll in our industry-leading realtor class for only $250.
$250?
Yep, just $250 to begin making all your real estate dreams come true. Become your own boss. Call today, 904-619-9488.
It's time to put some wings on your dreams. Your dream home, own it. Your dream business, own it. Your dream six figures, multiple streams of income, own it. Your dream future and legacy, own it.
It's time to glow on the Halo Effect Show with Dede Harper, the real estate angel.
And welcome to the Halo Effect Real Estate Show with Dede Harper, a.k.a. the Real Estate Angel, helping you put wings to your dreams. Dede Harper is the owner of Harper Associates Real Estate and the Harper School of Real Estate. And joining her today is Marcellus Womack. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Hey,
Hi, Radio Land. How are you today?
Dede, what's up? You looking super fashionable today? I know there was a, what was going on? I see the pink on the nails too. That some tells me that's a little AKA representation. What's going on with the AKAs over the past couple of weekends?
Wow, we've been busy. You know how secretive we are, but anyway. Yeah, we've been busy. I have been so busy, not just with that, but just with the housing market. It has been a crazy week, so I'm glad to be here on Thank God It's Friday.
Yes. What exactly is going on in the market that's kind of crazy? Is it a good crazy because you're busy getting all these homes, everybody, or is this some rules and regulations changing? What's going on?
A little bit of both. Okay. Rules and regulations are changing for realtors within our market. But there are a lot of housing. The interest rate is still good. We still have the down payment assistance programs, and those units are still renting out there with in Regency. I just got a contract on my way in, so I'm glad that they accepted the negotiation. So we're really good with that.
Congrats to that lucky business owner that's about to flourish. This is the right time, especially for retail.
Yes, S&L Boutique coming with a hair salon and also a boutique for good clothing. So I'm excited for her, and she's excited, so she will be coming there. So good things are happening. I'm glad that entrepreneurs are doing great.
Good stuff. Well, you know what? That's a great lead into our topic, which is loving and supporting our Black-owned businesses unconditionally. And that unconditional love is something that you've mentioned, Dede. So let me ask, we're going into the holiday season, and one of the biggest shopping day of the year is called Black Friday.
Oh, yeah, it's Black Friday.
But how black is really our Black Fridays when we get out there? So my question is, in a day where society at large is accustomed to using products and services that are mostly non-Black owned, looking at the clothes that we have on right now, the shoes we're wearing, the bags that the ladies may have, the cars that we're driving, why should we shift our consumer habits to unconditionally support Black-owned businesses?
And what's the benefit of shifting? We spoke about this a little bit last week, and I just wanted to kind of dive in it to go into what I meant about unconditional love for the Black businesses. The greatest benefit for supporting our Black-owned businesses is increasing our community, enhancing our community, developing our community, giving back to our community. And our community includes our children, the elderly. We look at Publix on the north side that's closing down. If we had a way to establish Black business, such as back in the time, I think about the Black Wall Street. During that time, there was support. And we look today and we are seeing the same thing as they did back in 1934, support Black businesses. And we are still not there. But during the Black Wall Street, and even Booker T. Washington, when he established the Urban League and things like that, our community was blossoming more then than we are now, because they were able to give back to the community. So we would not have had the situation such as Publix closing on the north side, because we had a community of pharmacies, schools, grocery stores, jewelry stores, banks, and we helped each other, so the community grew. So supporting our Black businesses is more than just going there to buy from them and thinking that's it. When we support, we are also, the entrepreneurs are able to go and lobby for the concerns. They do have the means to do that, the concerns of the city, to enhance our city. So it's just not just supporting them so they can get rich, but no, when you support them, it grows our economy.
And you mentioned stats. There's a stat around the turnover of the dollar. How often does the dollar circulate in a community? So I think a stat that flies out today is the Asian community, I believe it's a month. So a dollar, when it's spent on food, it's at an Asian store. And then within their community, that person may go to a clothing store that's owned by an Asian, and it circulates for an entire month. The Jewish community says 19 days. And for the African American community, it's 6 hours.
6 hours. Yes, I was listening to that yesterday as well. 6 hours, and then we will send it on. And just to think about it, 6 hours, and then we may spend it on, and I can go from a female perspective, the purse, the designer clothes, and things of that nature, when there are a lot of Black good establishments and designers that make even more quality clothes that we don't support, that's trying to grow. And actually some of them, I think there's a Black designer that worked for Gucci when that incident happened, where we are still helping to grow that community and others where we can actually support our designers and wear the same quality clothes and start our own trend instead of always sending our money back out of the community after 6 hours. And I would even say, just in my shopping habits, I know that it's probably less than 6 hours for our dollars.
So let's throw some stats out. Let's see how powerful this Black dollar is. African Americans have $1.4 trillion dollars in purchasing power. So if we were a nation, we would be the 16th largest nation, or largest economy in the world. There's a study by Kellogg School of Business, and it states that on average, I think 3% of our dollars go towards Black-owned businesses in our community. So that means for every $1,000 that's spent in a month, $30 is going to a Black-owned business. So that means that brother is getting a haircut, and then he's getting a plate from Soul Food Bistro, and everything else from that $1,000. That $970 out of $1,000 is going outside of his community. But a study from the Kellogg School of Business mentioned that they found that if the middle class Black consumers alone increase spending with Black-owned businesses from that 3% to 10%, so just 7% more, there will be the creation of 1 million jobs.
Yes, establishing and building up our economy once again. You know, and just to think about that as well, when we say support our Black-owned businesses, we are saying support the jobs that the businesses can establish for us. Instead of, a lot of times we go work at these different companies, Black businesses can't grow, but how about creating 1 million jobs just in your Black community? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Let me throw out, these are two other amazing stats. If 2 cents of every dollar spent by Black Americans was put aside for scholarships, it would total $20 billion, and it would pay for a Black college student to attend on a full scholarship. All Black college students now will be able to attend on a full scholarship if we just put 2 cents aside for that. If 20 cents of every dollar spent by Black Americans were put into a particular fund, it could eliminate the debt of every African country.
Wow.
So that's how powerful our dollars are. And when you see Amazon doing incredible, when you see Target doing incredible, when you see Nike doing amazing, when you see Facebook having great quarterly profits, all of that is driven. So much of that is driven by that black dollar. So let's get into what is the myth. If we're this powerful, yet we tend to not allocate our dollars in the right way. What is the myth? How do you respond when you hear the resistance and complaints to buying black in our community, which often includes, oh, it's slow service, it's so slow, or oh, it's kind of bootleg. I don't know if that Louis Vuitton was really Louis when I bought it from them, or the prices are so high. You know, when I go to the other shop, the one beauty store, you know, the prices are low, but when I go to the black-owned beauty supply, that same product is, 30% higher. So how do you respond to those perceptions?
I had this conversation last week, because you do hear that. And for any of the entrepreneurs that's going in business, I look at it as reciprocity too. If you're an entrepreneur and you're in business, we definitely should be supporting other businesses, because in order to receive, you have to give. So it takes a sacrifice sometimes to support our black businesses, to know that they did not have the opportunity as others, but they need the chance to grow. So in order to get that chance to grow, we have to be consistent and still support them. Maybe the prices may be 2 cents higher, but they're in your community. So just the gas for you to travel to the other place may, counteract that. So just think of the means of, I'm growing my community and I'm blessing my community and I'm helping my children. The service may be a little slow, but give them an opportunity. And we'll dive into that when we talk about the unconditional love that we should have for our black businesses.
And my thought, anything we do, it is driven from self-interest. And I think there's a hierarchy to it, Dede. So when we do anything, initially it's for self. It's the first self-interest is I'm doing this because I want this, I need this. But after that, it's normally your family. So now I'm going to do something because I want to do it for my kids need this. My spouse needs this. My parents, my siblings. And so after that progression, then there is your community, your neighborhood, ideally. So this is something that my community needs, because those are shared interests and commonalities that drive, in a similar arena. And then from there you build to maybe your industry, and then your nation, and then the world. And ideally, you should be able to do all of those. But what wouldn't make sense is if I said I'm about to prepare, I'm about to get food, I'm getting all these resources, I'm getting free backpacks, and I'm going to skip my kids, and I'm going to give it to people on the other side of the country. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but I'm skipping all over my initial home, my base, my family. And so when we don't do that to our family, but we'll skip right over our community and say, well, hey, let me continue to get my dollars here because I identify more with this industry, or I identify more with this other culture, or this other community that is far away from where oftentimes we were born and raised. Or
even where we live. Sometimes once we get to a certain status in life, we may forget, because you moved out on the beach or Ponte Vedra, that your community may still be the north side. We may forget where we were born, how we need to give back and help. So sometimes just because you're not living in the community does not mean that's not your community. That's still your neighbor. That's still your community. So we still should reach back and give back.
Yeah, I agree. So we know that we should. Are we convinced that we should buy? I'm sure there's some people listening and saying, yeah, that sounds good, but I feel like getting that Popeye's chicken sandwich. I'm not, I see enough of us in there. And that's another conversation too. Some businesses where it's black targeted, not necessarily black owned. But right now we're talking about those that are black owned. So as good as that chicken sandwich is, there are some great places to eat, and And I think
maybe even better.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. You mentioned we should unconditionally love supporting Black-owned businesses. What's the mindset and best process for doing so?
Now, when I spoke of unconditionally love, I had some calls saying, I really did have someone call me, and others say, no, I can't. I'm just not going to support my Black business because of da-da-da. And let's look at this as a marriage. When you marry, and I'm not saying to support all Black businesses, but the concept of support Black business. Now, that doesn't mean every time you go to the grocery store, you got to go to support a Black business, but make a commitment to support Black businesses. So if there's 3, let's support those 3 that you have made a commitment, because as you stated, 3%, if you give 3%, that's good. But if you're married to someone, you just don't stop loving them just because they do something. Hopefully not. I know some people do. So let's look at it as a marriage. And when you commit to supporting a Black business, you marry that Black business. Black businesses, we're not talking about a Black business. So if that Black business has done something, maybe you went there and it had slow service. Maybe the prices were too high. Why not negotiate? Why not call them? Why not express your concern? But just don't stop loving. Just don't stop going, because this is how they grow. So if it happened over and over again, sure, you can divorce it. But since you are committing to supporting Black businesses, why not find another Black business that you can support? And if you just make a small commitment, not saying that you got to change your whole way of living and say, I'm going to just go to all Black businesses, that may be hard to do. But if you commit small and just say, I'm going to this month, just try to support Black business or a Black business when it comes to buying my clothes. Maybe I go to S&L boutique, whatever boutique you want to go to. But if you do a small commitment, that will help, because you just don't rush and divorce. You try to work it out so we can, at the end of the day, commit to building our economy and our community. So we have to make some type of status to marry the idea of supporting, and then you marry the idea of, I'm going to help build and increase the community. Because once again, if we go back to those stats, home ownership, property ownership, assets for Blacks are lower than it was 50 years ago. So we're not increasing just because we have a bag. We are really not doing well as a community, our society. We may appear because of Facebook and things like that, but at the end of the day, we are not in a good position. So let's commit so we can commit to helping our children when they're in schools, to enhancing the schools, and do your part. So if that's a small percentage, let's start small, but let's start somewhere.
And I think when you use this term marriage, as much, and many can testify that, even the Bible mentions that, love in that way is, it's perseverance, and it's endurance, and it's resilience, and so many of those other things. So there are some just certain things that are needed beyond for that to work, but even before then, most marriages start in a honeymoon. It starts with people loving and having a passion. And I think that is represented in our businesses too. I think industries that we have on lock, where our dollars almost 100% of the time go there, is the beauty salon and the barbershop. Like, brothers is going to get their hair cut and that line and that fade. They're going to go to another brother in that community. And women, when they need to get slayed, they're going to go right to that stylist in that community. And the reason for that is the level of quality, the level of understanding what that customer wants. No one knows how your hair is. The texture of a Black woman's beautiful hair, no one understands that more than another Black stylist. And the same with the guy who, the guy who's, goes the range right now. He's a junior and he wants to get a fly cut, for his homecoming. He knows there's only one dude that can get him that part right. So there's innovation, there's creativity, but that's not the only industry. So to your point, when it comes to fashion, you talk about this boutique.
Going to boutiques.
Who knows a Black woman's curve is better than another Black woman? Who knows what's trendy and what Beyonce wore, that they can find an item for a fraction of that cost. So that applies to so many other industries. So we do have to initially
daycare, things of that nature. We have schools that we can support.
Who's going to take your young kid that's been diagnosed with ADHD, who understands that they're just hyper and they just need to learn a different way? Because one type of school is going to put them on medication. Another one is going to say, hey, this is like my knucklehead nephew. All I need to do is show him how to do math in a creative way and put some real money in his face, because that's what he really cares. But who's going to care to do that? And I think it's just natural that those within your family, or those within your culture and your community will care more. So in the best situation, and I'll be honest, every black-owned business is not the best situation for me, you, and everyone listening. But there are some realtors, Dedee Harper,
yes,
Real Estate Associates.
Yes.
You have some stylists, you have some stock investors, you have some bankers, you have some engineers, you have some construction workers, you have so many other people in industries that are of your culture, and they know you better. They know those needs. And so we have to find them and go through that extra price. Go to that beauty supply store. That might be a little more pricey for your moisturizer or conditioner, but they're going to talk to you. Right. They're going to know somebody that goes to your church. They're going to know. And so that's a relationship, and you can build. And what you'll find is, and this is an experience I just share really quick. I rent a lot of cars, when I go out of town. And I happened to thought I had rented one at the airport and found out it was somewhere else. So I was short on time. I had to get out of town. It was like Florida, Georgia weekend, and the prices had like tripled. And so I'm like, oh. And so I called the place I was supposed to go to. They said, well, it was only 20 minutes left, and we're probably going to give it away if you can't get here. I was on the other side of town. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to get there. And it was someone, they weren't of our culture, and they let that car rental go. So there was only one place that was open with cars, and that was on Lim Turner. And in my head, I'm like, I love my Lim Turner joint, but oh man, I need this to be right. But I had no choice.
I didn't even know they had a rental place over there.
It's a rental spot right on Lim Turner, a little bit past Edgewood.
Shout out.
And so when I went there, it was a young black brother. And the line, and it was a packed place because that was the only place that had cars available for a decent rate. There's white people in there, Hispanic people in there, black people in there, and this brother was taking care of business. Hey, Mr. Johnson, we're cleaning this car here. It'll be ready in 10 minutes. Boom. Okay, what do you need? You need this? Okay, that wasn't right. Boom. Mr. Womack, okay, you come. Okay, did you reserve online? You didn't? Okay, I'm going to make something happen. That dude took care of everything. So shout out to that brother, because that was the best service I ever had with a car rental business in my life.
Wow.
In my life, of any city, of any kind, right on Lim Turner. And I told that young brother, I did a recommendation for him on LinkedIn, and I told him, man, you're going to have your own car rental franchise if you want. Or you take that skill set. I think he goes to UNF, wherever you want to do. Or he may start manufacturing cars, but he's going to be awesome. And when you find a person like that, sometimes they're bagging groceries in Publix, but that young lady or young male is finding that salmon that you needed, going back in that aisle. Like, when I find the best of the best in terms of service and businesses, it's nothing better than our black-owned businesses. It's nothing better. That's not everyone, but when you do find them, just like that stylist or that barber, there is a person in real estate for you who's on the air right now, who will go above and beyond. I see her time and time again. People come in and they're not confident because of their credit score. They had a horrible realtor before them, but they were going to another one because it was a bigger name, and they thought that they could kind of get some things, and they did not get the attention that they deserved. And I've seen them sit in your office.
Yes.
I've seen you go out. I've seen an entrepreneur, who wasn't able to find a good location. You've been able to get a rate at a fraction of the cost as well. So we are really, it's not just, let's hook up our business and let's do well for our community. I know that only lasts for so long. We should, but we really do things emotionally because we want to and we like to.
Right.
And no one knows you better, and no one's going to care the way that we do. And that's just, no one cares about that lion more than the next lion. No one cares about that kangaroo more, and the same with us.
Right. And let me speak to that. So we were talking to the consumers, but for the entrepreneurs that's out there, if you have a business, love is two-way. So if you have clients that are supporting you or customers that are supporting you, we have to also commit to ourselves that we are going to treat them right. Because we would not be in business if it's not for them.
Absolutely.
I do what I do for real estate, stay up late, because I would not have an office if it's not for my clients. So we have to give them the same treatment. So if you want consumers to support your business, you can't be mad. You got to give them the respect. And everyone has a bad day. We get it. But you have to benchmark and find out if my prices, are they too high? What can I do to help and these consumers to come to me? So it is two-sided. I'm not saying we support them at all ends, because at some point, if you're married and you're not getting the love back, at some point that gets old and you will find somewhere else to go. So to the consumers, yes, I would say support, but also to our business owners, we have to give the consumers what they need. We have to give them our trust. We have to give them good service. We can't be inconsistent with our business. We just have to do our part as well. So this is two-way. And if both of us are doing our part, we definitely should be able to enhance our community together.
Absolutely.
You know, just like love. If I'm trying to meet you halfway, I need you to meet me halfway as well. So for the entrepreneurs and the businesses, let's commit to giving good services so we can have repeat clientele. And then we commit to supporting them and actually go get a job, go work for them, so you won't have to just work for that. Try to find your Black-owned company to work for, you know. So it is both ways.
You're right.
And I want you to be able to get
and you're right, those businesses have to address the consumer base and understand that 99.9% of your business, if you're a Black business owner, 99% of the time you have Black consumers that are allowing your business to generate 6 figures, 7 figures, you know, becoming a multi-million-dollar business or having a chance to be an entrepreneur is because of that Black consumer base. And on the flip side, the community provides those dollars and spends in those directions, you know, to empower ourselves. Because when we do that, then when your kid, that community and that block needs a sponsorship for jerseys for their Pop Warner team, who's most likely to do that?
right.
And I've seen this, when tragedy hits,
to do it.
When tragedy hits and there's a young Black male who gets shot down in these streets and they don't have life insurance for their kid, what business is going to pay for that?
Most of those Black-owned,
I see Black-owned businesses time and time do it, and I see those outside of our community reject that time and time again.
Right.
I don't see Pop Warner pictures. I don't see any of those services being done. And that's what we need. When things hit the fan, who are you going to go to that has that capital, that has that relationship, that has that care? And that's going to be a Black-owned business. So I'll ask this.
And one other thing. So Black-owned businesses, do not be afraid to take a survey, get surveys. We don't like the hard truth, but it's okay, because that helps us to grow. Don't be afraid to benchmark, even if you got to send somebody else out there and say, hey, how much do they charge for this? I have done it with my real estate company. I want to be comparative to my agents to find out, well, what's going in the community. And don't be scared to get a mentor if you need that to help your business grow. So get a mentor, do surveys, do whatever it takes so you can become the number one in whatever field you're in, so you can have the support of your consumers. So, you know, I really don't like the surveys too much. I mean, none of us like to know really what's wrong. You should, but you don't like to hear negative. We can look at it as negative, but if you turn that around and say that's a positive, you know, if you told me that, okay, Dede, I know you're one person and you didn't return my phone call quick enough, so I went somewhere else. So now I know my next step of things I need to do in order to have the consumers and to gain their trust and to do and make my business better. So at the end of the day, entrepreneurs, you want to have a good business. So don't be afraid to find out what you need, what areas you need to enhance and increase.
You're preaching way better than we saying amen. For sure. So last thought, and this will be a tie-in to your show next week, which will be all about buying a home, home ownership.
That's what I do right there.
Yeah. So we understand the empowerment piece. We understand the collective economics, and now we have some listeners that are saying, okay, well, I'm ready to buy this home. I'm ready to have this conversation. I'm ready to step out on faith, and I want to have a home in 2020. I want to have a home before the end of the year. And we have, Dede Harper and the, an Associates Real Estate. So I want to ask, why should we seek home ownership, and what are the quick benefits real quick for those listening who are going to tune in next Friday? What can you share with them that encourages them to be a homeowner?
Benefits is you're adding to your wealth. You're adding to your equity. That's one of the greatest benefits that for me, when you buy a home, you're not paying off the next person mortgage. You are adding to your own equity. So you would have that like a savings account. Now this money is in the bank because you're paid down your mortgage, and you can go there and take out a loan to send your child off to school. So you're building your legacy, building your equity, building your wealth in home ownership. That is something that a lot of us feel as if we can't do. I remember buying my home, I think, and I'm still in the same home in my late 20s. And it's a fear that you feel like I just can't do it because you did not try. There are a lot of programs, even Duval County and the state of Florida, that help you with buying a home, and you only have to put down $500 and pay for your inspection. And, normally it's the credit score part. So I like to sit with my clients and let's go over where you are. And you may not can buy today, or you can buy today and you thought that you couldn't. But if you can't, let's do a plan for you and set you in motion and take care of the things that you need to take care of, so we can say you will be able to buy in 6 months. So if you make a path to home ownership, and that's planning to purchase, you never know if you don't look at your credit, if you don't see where you are as far as your approval. So that's one of the first things you want to do is and just plan to say, I want this. I want to do it. And once you take that step, we do everything from mortgages. You don't have to go anywhere else. We're a mortgage company. We're a lender. We also help you find the home, look at your credit, help you get there to everything that you need to purchase a home.
So I'm saying the phone ringing right now. And it looks like people want to get to you to ask these questions. So if you could share your number, and if you're listening and you've been wanting to buy that home, you want to trust someone, you want to be able to have a conversation, be comfortable, put different factors in place to kind of weigh things out, and you want to talk to Dede, the real estate angel, and it's because she really looks for ways to bless people regardless of the circumstances and situations. What's that phone number where they can call you right now when we get off and your phone is always open? How can they get to you directly right now after the show? 904-619-9488. 904-619-9488. Harper Associates Real Estate. All right.
Well, thank you for joining us on today for the Halo Effect Real Estate Show with Dede Harper, the Real Estate Angel. We'll join you on next Friday at 4:15.
Hi, I'm Dede Harper, the Real Estate Angel, and the host of the Halo Effect Show every Friday. If you're ready to begin living your best life as a highly paid and highly favored six-figure realtor, call the Harper School of Real Estate today. When you mention you heard the ad on Pure Radio, you can enroll in our industry-leading realtor class for only $250.
$250?
Yep, just $250 to begin making all your real estate dreams come true. Become your own boss. Call today, 904-619-9488.